welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about organizing your finances. Alright guys, welcome to this video. I am so excited to be talking about this topic of organizing your finances, and let's talk about making money. Now, I know that sometimes this can be kind of a taboo topic, that people don't like to talk about money, how much money they make, their finances, and so a lot of times we're left in the dark with this subject. I know another thing that hairstylists tend to struggle with when it comes to our finances is a lot of times we have different months and different amounts of income coming in every single month. So one month we may make a ton of money, but then the next month we don't make very much at all, and so it's hard to kind of gauge where we're at with our finances. And so a lot of times traditional, budgeting techniques or financial organizing things that are maybe traditional in other people's realms, they don't really work for us. But before we get into the system and strategy that I have figured out for my business and I know is going to work for you, I want to let you guys know that this video is part of my Intentional New Year series, and I filmed a couple other videos for this series. You can find them at the link below, but I also created a completely free guidebook. It's called the Ultimate New Year Guidebook. It's totally free, 22 pages, tons of amazing info inside this guidebook, and you guys can get it by going to the link down below. I'll also link that one. And the cool thing about this guidebook is no matter when you're watching this video, whether it's the beginning of the year and you're watching this when it premiered, or maybe you're halfway through the year, or it's the end of the year, if you don't have a plan for the next month, the next quarter, or even your next year, I highly recommend downloading that guidebook because it's gonna help you set a plan for yourself, for your business, and for your finances, things that we're talking about for this next month, next quarter, and it'll give you some really attainable goals and an awesome plan that you can use going forward. So if you haven't already downloaded it, make sure to head over to the link down below, jamiedana.com/newyear, and you can get your hands on that free guidebook. Alright, so now getting into the meat of this video. Now, I know as hairstylists, a lot of us struggle with organizing our finances, and usually it comes down to the fact that every month is a little bit different. Now, some months we make a lot of money and we have a really successful month and we're able to save, we're able to organize things a little bit easier because we made a lot of money. But then maybe the next month you didn't make as much. And so traditional methods of budgeting out your money don't really work for us, and a lot of times we get stuck because a lot of months are just different. We don't really know how much money is going to be coming in each month. Now, we can guess, but unlike traditional jobs where they have a paycheck that they get every single 2 weeks or month or whatever, it's a very set amount, and so they can budget it out easier. Versus us, it's a little bit harder to do. And so I think a lot of us don't have budgets, we don't organize our finances because at the end of the day, we just get tripped up over it, and it's something that we just were never taught how to do. And this is something that I struggled with for years in my business. I have had my business for over about 10 years now, and it's only up until last year that I really figured out a system and strategy to organizing my finances. Now, I always had my spreadsheets and I was very organized on the back end, but I didn't necessarily know how to pay myself, or how much money should be going towards expenses, or how much should I allot for taxes? Did I have enough money at the end of the year for taxes? And a lot of those things are really things that we just don't think about throughout the year until it comes tax time when we have to pay our bills, or it comes to the end of the year and we do our numbers and we're like, I didn't really make that much money, or I didn't really save that much money. And so I'm going to teach you guys a strategy that's going to be really easy and something that I've implemented in my business in the last year, and it's completely transformed the way that I look at my finances, and it's easy, which I know for a lot of you guys, you might be even just thinking, I hate talking about money, I hate talking about like the spreadsheets and all that stuff. It's not fun, and our brains aren't really wired that way. We're creative, we're with our hands, we're not thinking about spreadsheets. That's like what bookkeepers do, right? That's not our job. But at the end of the day, if you're not taking care of your finances and you don't know where your money is going, you're not gonna be able to really up-level your business and take it to that next level of where you wanna go if you're not taking care of your money well. And a lot of times it's not that we're not making money in our business, it's that we just don't know where to put it or where to allocate money. Like again, I don't know how much to pay myself or how much should be going towards expenses or things like education or reinvesting back into my business. And so we just get stuck. We hope that we make enough to cover the expenses, and then maybe if we want to go to a class here or there, we're like, I think I can afford this, so then you just do it, but then you're not really sure. And I want you to have a really clear-cut method of figuring out, okay, I'm going to allocate this amount of money towards education and this amount of money towards taxes. So at the end of the year, I have money and I'm gonna pay myself this much. And so having a system and strategy in place is really, really important. And at the end of the day, it's not necessarily about making more money, although that's obviously important. It's actually learning about how to make more money while spending less. And in order to do that, you have to know where your money is going. So about a year ago, my husband and I went camping on a camping trip, and where we went, there was no cell service. So I actually brought a book, and if you guys know me at all, I actually hate reading books, but this was a book that was recommended to me, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get through it. It's a financial book. Like, that sounds horrible, but I'm gonna read it anyways because I've heard such great things. And so I opened up this book and I actually tore through the whole book in 2 days. It was that good and I was getting so much information, and I knew immediately when I went home that I was going to implement this system in my business. So the book is called Profit First by Mike Michalowicz, and you guys, the system inside this book is incredible. So I'll just explain it in a quick nutshell, but I highly recommend grabbing this book. I actually linked it down below from Amazon so you guys can check it out there. I believe it's under $20 and it is one of the best investments that I've made. So basically the book starts like this, and if you guys have ever heard of anything like an envelope system, if you've heard of Dave Ramsey, his traditional method of organizing your money in envelopes, right? And so that method basically says you take everything in cash and you put it into envelopes, and so you have a certain amount of spending money, things like that. Profit First kind of works in the same way, but the most important step about Profit First is you're actually taking your profit first before you take anything else. So the way that traditional accounting works is you take all of the money that you make and then you minus out all of your expenses or things that you have to spend money on, and what you're left over with is your profit. Well, the reason why this doesn't typically work is because let's say you made a certain amount of money, but then you spent that exact same amount of money, what you're left over with is nothing. And so you're actually not pulling a profit in your business. And the way that Profit First works is instead you take all the money that you make, you put it into one account, and you allocate money first to profit. And so you're pulling out a percentage of that amount of money that you made and you're putting it away towards profit. Then you take some money and you allocate it towards expenses, operating expenses. Then you take a certain amount of money and you pay yourself or your employees or whatever that might look like. And then you maybe might take a certain percentage and you allocate it for taxes. And so what you're doing is you're literally allocating this money in a really systematic and easy way. And you're understanding like, okay, I already spent this much, so I need to, put this much into my accounting. So inside the book, it shows you exactly how to break down your percentages and how to do all of that stuff, so I won't go into that today. And of course, it's gonna look different for every single business. But for my business, it's been extremely helpful because it's allowed me to allocate money to where I need it to go in my business. Now, as you guys read the book, and I highly recommend that you check it out like I mentioned before, check it out, it's amazing. But as you read the book, you may tweak certain things, and there are certain areas in the book at the end where he kind of says like, if you have this kind of business, you might want this kind of account, but he has 5 specific accounts that he recommends having for your business. Now for me, I'm a corporation. So the way that that works is I'm not a sole proprietor. I actually have a business. It's Jamie Dana Inc. And then me, I pay myself as an employee of my business. There's lots of reasons why we did this, but I incorporated my business and it makes things a lot easier because now I'm paying myself. I'm taking out taxes for Jamie Dana, the employee. We have other employees that we have in the business, so they're also paid through the corporation, and it just makes things a lot easier. Now, if you're an LLC or a sole corp or whatever, the way that you have your business set up, it may look a little bit different, but the same principles are going to work no matter what kind of business you have. So the 5 accounts that in Profit First that he recommends and the ones that I have are first income, and this is where everything comes in. So whether you collect payments through, Stripe or Venmo or Square or whatever you use to collect payments, all of the money is going to go into this one income account. And from there, you're going to take all the money from this income account and you're going to disperse it to your other accounts. So for me, I've got profit, I have an owner's comp account. So this is money that I actually get to pay myself as an owner of the business, which is awesome because who doesn't like taking money out of their own business, right? Then we also have one set up for taxes, and this is great because for me as a corporation, I don't necessarily get money taken out of my paycheck. Right now, I do as an employee, but the business makes money, so long story short, we still have to set aside money for taxes, and instead of at the end of the year when taxes are due and we're like, oh shoot, we owe all this money and maybe you didn't have it, Profit First is actually setting it up ahead of time so that you already know every single month you're taking money out, you're setting it aside for taxes so that you're not having to worry about this at the end of the year when tax time comes. And then last but not least, we have our operating expense account. And the cool thing about this is, and he talks about this further in the book, but basically you try to get this account as small as you can so that you can allocate money towards profit. Because at the end of the day, profit is what you get to take home. It's your little bonus that you get to take home at the end of the day, which is obviously exciting. So you want that to grow as much as you can. So you try to shrink your operating expense account as much as you can. And this is where it comes into not just making more money in the business, but spending less. And he actually has this analogy which I loved and it totally clicked in my brain for me. But you know when you get a brand new tube of toothpaste and you go ahead and you squirt a ton of toothpaste on your toothbrush, you're not even thinking about how much you're using, you're just using the toothpaste. But when you get down to that little tiny bit of toothpaste in there, you're working so hard to get it out. You're squeezing it, you're twisting it, you're like literally working with the tiniest bit. And guess what? You brush your teeth with like the smallest amount of toothpaste because that's all you had left. And it's kind of the same way with your operating expenses. When you have a ton of money in your operating expenses account, you're like, oh, whatever, we can do that education, we can go buy that new thing, we can go buy that new curling iron or whatever. You end up spending a lot of money because, hey, you have a lot of money there. But when you get really strategic about getting that account to be as small as possible and really strategizing with how you're spending your money, it's not only going to increase your profit, but you're getting really strategic and you have to kind of be creative sometimes. So maybe that means you're not going to, the supply store every single week. Maybe that means you're going every other week and you're trying to figure out like, okay, if I, do buy this in bulk, maybe that means I'm saving a little bit, or maybe I'm actually gonna save up to spend education in a different way, or you're going to, save up for that curling iron instead of just buying a new curling iron whenever you feel like it. So there's really cool ways that you can get strategic, and he talks more about it in the book, so I'll let you get into it there, but it really helps you organize your finances to the point where you're shrinking that operating expenses account, and in turn, you're growing the profit account. Another method he talks about in the book is called what's doing a money meeting twice a month. So he recommends the 10th and the 25th of every month. Basically, you sit down, you look at your finances. And so for me, this is exactly what I do. That's when we allocate all the money. So again, all my money that I make from anything comes into that income account, we allocate it out. And actually, you guys, I have so much fun allocating my money because I'm like, hey, I'm paying myself money. I get excited about doing my money meetings. And this is also when I pay off my credit card. Now, for me, I actually use a business credit card. We use it really strategically. Pretty much any expense we can run through a credit card, we do because I get points for it, which again, I can use for travel or things later, just trying to reward myself in as many ways as possible. But I'm very responsible with my business credit cards. I make sure that I don't spend any more money that I don't have in the operating expenses account, and I'm making sure that I'm paying it off twice a month. So the 10th and the 25th, those credit cards get paid off, and they're making sure that they're at a zero balance, so we're not carrying over interest or anything like that. That would be an unwise way to use a credit card. So the cool thing about using my credit cards for pretty much all my expenses is I know how much I'm spending on expenses in one payment. So this makes it a lot easier versus just like, oh, we've got all these random things that we're trying to track through the checking. And again, you could totally do this in whatever way works for you, but this is what works for me. We have it try to go through all of the credit card Pretty much the only thing that can't go through the credit card is things like rent or utilities, stuff like that. But anything that I buy, color, anything for the salon, any software, anything that I have to buy that if I can put it on a credit card, I will. And I'm just making sure that I'm really strategic with it. Obviously not going over our budget, but it really helps me keep track of points, which is awesome, but it allows me to see how much I'm spending each month in one payment of my credit card. So that's a little tip that I use. It works really well for me, but again, making sure that you're staying responsible with your credit card is really important too. And then besides the profit first method and what I use in my business, I also have a bookkeeper, somebody that keeps track of my books. We use QuickBooks Online. So the cool thing about QuickBooks Online, and this is totally not a sponsor post or anything like this, we actually don't love the software, but it works enough fine for us. But basically all of our expenses and income, everything comes into that. I can run things like profit and loss statements through there. That's really helpful. So we have everything come through there. It's all online, so my bookkeeper can see it, I can see it. We can kind of track things together there. And then I also have a tax guy who does my taxes at the end of the year. Now, if you don't have a tax guy, I highly would recommend getting one. It is so worth it. At the end of the day, I don't want to be worrying about, did I do them right or did I do it wrong? Like, I don't want to get audited. So I have a tax guy. It makes life so much simpler, definitely worth the investment. So for those of you guys that maybe don't have QuickBooks Online, what I used to do back in the day when I worked at a salon or I got a paycheck or I was rental commission, I use this same method no matter where I was in my business. So this will work if you're commissioned, if you are an assistant and you work half-time, part-time, whatever, maybe you're a rental stylist, or maybe you're even a salon owner. Now, if you're a salon owner, I highly would recommend hiring a bookkeeper and getting a professional software like QuickBooks. But if you're kind of just starting out in your business or you're not quite ready at that level, what I would do was I had spreadsheets and I would go into Excel. Now I know that some of you guys are thinking, spreadsheets, that sounds horrible, but it actually made my life a lot easier. So what I would do is I would collect all of my receipts for the month, any receipts that I had, especially if you're spending it through a business credit card or something like that. I do that because I have a corporation, that's another story, but I use a business credit card, so any receipt that I have, I keep those receipts because the IRS needs to know about them, and it helped me track things. So I would keep all of my receipts, and I would allocate them. I basically had a spreadsheet that was for the month, and I had each week lined up in a column. And so I had week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, whatever, on. And then at the top, I had all of my income. And so I had income broken up by credit cards, how many clients had paid with credit cards, how many clients had paid with checks, how many clients had paid with Venmo or cash or whatever you want to do. So I literally had my income at the top, and then as it went through, it would do each week. So at the end, I'd have my total of how much I made that month, and then down below it I had my in-salon expenses, so that was things like color, products, tools, salon decor, foils, all that stuff. I had a whole line item for that, so I actually would organize it by color, products, all of that stuff. To me, I was really organized. I like that. You don't have to do that. You could just literally have a line item of all of your receipt expenses if you wanted to keep it simple. And then I had one down below for business, so I had things like office supplies, software, you know, bookkeeper, liability insurance, things like that. And I had all of those things lined up as well. And so basically at the end, I could see all of my expenses, and I would add it up down at the bottom of that week. And then over, you would see it all the way down at the bottom, and you could add it up for the entire month. So basically this spreadsheet had all of my income for the entire month and all of my expenses. And this was a really easy way to keep track of where I was spending my money, how much I was spending my money, and then from there you could build out your profit first system and figure out, okay, we're spending about this much in expenses. Could we maybe spend less? What could we get rid of? Maybe we don't need that software that we thought we were gonna need, or maybe we need to spend more in education and less in things like salon decor things. Whatever that might look like, you can analyze your systems and figure out, okay, where are we spending our money? And then you can also see, okay, we're spending this amount of money and we're only making this much, so our profit is really small. So how can we actually make that less and maybe increase the amount of sales that we have coming in as well? And the best part about this entire system is you literally know how much you're paying yourself, how much you're allocating to things like education. So if you have maybe a bank account just for education, you could totally set it up in your profit first method, a bank account just for education. And so the cool thing is every month you're allocating money towards that education, and maybe you have an extra $3 grand that you can spend on education, which for some of you might sound like a lot, but I highly would recommend doing that, because now you know, oh my gosh, I have all this extra money that I can spend towards education, and maybe I can go take that trip to that really cool class in Europe, or maybe I can do a retreat or something a little bit deeper, or maybe I can invest in that online course that I've been wanting to buy. So that's a really cool thing about having money, and you're allocating you're organizing it, and it almost becomes kind of like a game versus this thing that you dread and hate doing. So in all of this, I just want to say, I want you to figure out what works for you, but by using tools like Profit First, by having a bookkeeper, by having it organized in spreadsheets or QuickBooks, I promise you my life has gotten so much easier, and I'm actually excited about my finances. I feel like I know how much my money is, where it's going, how much I'm spending, and at the end of the day, I get excited to pay myself the money in my business, and that's what's really, really cool. So I hope that you take this video. I know that it's a little bit longer one, but I hope that you take it, and I hope that you run with it. I highly recommend getting the book Profit First. Like I said, I have a link down below to the Amazon. It is an affiliate link, so I get a small percentage back, but I would love for you guys to check it out. I love this book. It has changed the way that I look at my finances in my business, and I promise you that it will change yours too. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you haven't already hit the subscribe button, make sure to do that down below. I do lots of videos like this with business tips. And again, this video is part of the Intentional New Year series, so you can see the other videos that we talked about down below at the link. I'll share those down below. Lots of great stuff. If you are a hairstylist wanting to grow your business, you're definitely gonna wanna check out those videos, and make sure to get your Ultimate New Year guidebook like I linked down below. That will also add you to my email list, which I send out tons of resources, tons of strategy and emails and all of that kind of stuff, and you're not gonna want to miss out on it. So I just want to say thank you so much for taking your time to listen or to watch this video. I hope that you found something valuable and helpful. Send me an Instagram DM, or just come over to Instagram and say hi. I'd love to meet you. And at the end of the day, I'm excited for you to grow your business. And by organizing your finances, knowing where your money's going, and ultimately having a system in place, it'll make your life so much easier, and I'm so excited for you. So thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.